Members of Congress come here and admit that to me, and yet collectively you guys have ceded your authority to the executive.
Well, too much, but I think you're actually seeing us begin to reclaim some of it now. But I think, when you do it over 40 years, you don't reclaim it in a single incident. You do it incrementally over time, and I think that's actually underway.
If there were a middle ground here, not impeachment, but a censure of some sort, do you think that would be a more appropriate way to go?
Look, if I were the Democrats, I would have chosen that. But again, that's up to them as to how they want to proceed. Personally, I don't see anything here that I'm likely to have censured the president for. So, again, fair enough. If I think they've made the decision. They want to go for the whole ball of wax, and it's not going to work. But I do believe, as Leader McCarthy said, this is more about impacting the next election than it is about removing the president by impeachment.
Let me get you to respond to Justin Amash, the lone Republican who sort of left the party over President Trump. He tweeted this on the day of the vote. The president will be in power for only a short time, but excusing his misbehavior will forever tarnish your name. To my Republican colleagues, step outside your media and social bubble. History will not look kindly on disingenuous, frivolous, and false defenses of this man. What do you say to Justin Amash?
Well, first of all, I regard him as a friend, and we just profoundly disagree on this issue. I think he's wrong. Look, if I believed everything the Democrats are saying, I would still say this is an impeachable offense. I routinely went home for 6 years, and I think probably most Republicans in red districts did, and got yelled at for not impeaching Barack Obama over and over and over again. But I didn't think he'd done anything, even when I disagreed with him, that rose to that level. Now we're going to do this on a phone call? I mean, I just don't think this rises to the level. And I think my friends on the Democratic side are putting America through a terrifically bad experience, really because they've lost control. They confuse what their base thinks with what the public thinks.
Why is this on the Democrats and their base and not President Trump? Do you think President Trump has any responsibility for the horrible polarizing situation we're in right now?
Look, I think the polarizing situation has been building up for a long time, but I think you don't make it better by doing impeachment. You make it worse. So you can hardly complain about polarization when on what I think is very flimsy evidence, you put the country through a incredibly divisive thing. You stop everything else where we can work together, whether it's appropriations or USMCA. Those things aren't happening right now. I think this is all political, and I think it's a situation where, sadly, the speaker lost control of our own conference.
You have said you have not read all the depositions.
I haven't been able to read it.
That's right. And when we were supposedly going to see them all before then, have you closed the door completely to approving an article of impeachment?
Well, you never close the door completely to anything like this, but again, we just adopted a process that every single Republican said was unfair. We didn't do the Clinton process, the Nixon process. So, I mean, I think the way the Democrats have handled this have sort of pushed Republicans together, whether they intended to or not. Now, am I open to listening? Of course. But all I know is that everything so far that's been presented behind closed doors, every Republican that has heard it did not vote for this impeachment process. So, again, we'll see what they do. But, I think this is pretty predictable how this runs its course politically in terms of the impeachment process itself.
Tom Cole, Republican from Oklahoma. Always good to have your perspective.
Hey, Chuck.
Thanks for coming on, sharing your views. Much appreciated. When we come back, what both political parties have to gain and lose as the impeachment effort moves forward. Panelists next.